All right, now let's discuss this further. We're now joined by teams by Energy Analyst Ruse Moleshe. Ruse, thank you so much for your time. A lot of, explaining to do in terms of the role of City Power as well as that of Eskom in terms of what is happening now. I mean, what can we attribute this load reduction to, given that the role of City Power is managing the transmission as well as the grid in the greater Johannesburg area, I would imagine. So is this a City Power a problem? And I mean, we're being told that this is, in fact, not load shedding.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Natia, and the listeners or the viewers. The issue is not on the generation side, which is where Eskom generates most of our power in the country, and the City Power and other municipalities then purchase that electricity from Eskom, which is transmitted through the transmission infrastructure to City Power. City Power manages on the distribution side, which is closer to the end user, their infrastructure. So if the power is transmitted from Eskom to City Power, and City Power has to then send it to end users, and their infrastructure is not capable of taking all of that to end users, that can mean two things: that the demand is significantly increased on their side and their infrastructure has not been able to keep up with that demand. I saw the number of areas that they listed. There are quite a lot. To me, that talks to infrastructure that has not necessarily kept up to pace, or in terms of maintenance, there have been issues there.
And just on that last point that you're making, Ruse, I mean, this is, troubling and concerning because this load reduction is coming despite no rolling blackouts from, Eskom for more than 10 weeks now. So on that point of, maintenance of infrastructure, whose responsibility then is it? I mean, are we talking City Power here or local government in terms of municipalities?
We're talking the infrastructure belongs to City Power. So we're talking City Power maintaining the substations, the lines, and making sure that there's everything. They do allude to a fact that there is an element of theft that has come in, and the demand has been increased by that. But obviously, it's cannot only be attributed to theft. I think the infrastructure has not kept up with the maintenance has not kept up with the infrastructure.
How concerned are you about that very fact in terms of, the infrastructure hasn't kept up, obviously, with the demand? I mean, Eskom has just recently gotten back on track, and, a lot of South Africans very excited about that. But to have then this problem, particularly as it relates to maintenance, notwithstanding, of course, the criminal elements, should that not have been the time, to undertake major, maintenance at this time where we are, enjoying a better Eskom, if I can put it that way?
Yes, we should actually be enjoying. I mean, the city of Tshwane, I haven't heard anything, especially the extent to which the number of areas that City Power is referring to. I have not heard a similar problem with respect to that. So it's always important, obviously, for all of the utilities, all of the metros, to make sure that they keep up to date with respect to maintenance. That also relates to collection, ensuring that there is proper collection from users of electricity, so that you are able to then use the revenue to plow back into infrastructure.
When City Power says, it's implementing the load reduction as well as other measures, to avoid a total collapse of the grid, what happens in that event that it cannot, for whatever reason, maintain this level of usage and it reaches critical levels? What would happen in the event of that total collapse of the grid?
So in the total collapse of the substation infrastructure, if you overload, obviously, the system, it will not be able to cope. So it's better to reduce on the demand side to be able to cater for as many people as possible. So they wouldn't allow an overuse of the, if I can put it that way. So that's why they have to reduce it to protect the infrastructure. The most important thing to do is to obviously develop more infrastructure, curb the illegal use of infrastructure, because that also contributes. It's not just from City Power's point of view that they are not maintaining the infrastructure. Also, but it's still unfortunately, their responsibility to ensure that they curb the use that is not legal, because then it impacts on the users that are using the system and paying for it. So that's what's important.
Just in the sense of Eskom, maybe let's just get the very latest in terms of, how Eskom is currently performing. I mean, it is currently winter, and as I've said, we have had, the utility running smoothly for the past 10 weeks now. And by smoothly, I mean no load shedding. In terms of, in recent days, or as we, head into winter, how stable is Eskom at the moment?
So Eskom has shown a lot of resilience in the recent past, at least more than 72 days of no load shedding. I say resilience because typically in winter, even if typically in winter we'd have serious load shedding, particularly when we have demand increasing as a result of an increase in the weather, which we have seen recently. The cold front would typically be having an increased load shedding, and we can see that they have become resilient. They are not using their diesel as much as they typically would. So it is something that they have to be commended about, that they continue to maintain the system irrespective of an increase in demand.
All right, Ruse, thank you so much for that. Energy analyst there, Ruse Moleshe, just unpacking what is currently happening in Johannesburg in as far as City Power is concerned.